Hi everyone, welcome back to our channel. We're so glad to have you here. In our previous vlog, we explored the beautiful Muktanath. If you haven't seen it yet, make sure to check it out. The link is in the description below. After returning from our incredible journey to Muktanath, we teamed up with a few of our brothers and decided to set off on another adventure, this time to explore the beautiful village of Ghandruk. Considering the route included some off-road sections, we hired a car from Pokhara for about 7,000 Nepali rupees to ensure a safer and more comfortable journey. The journey from Pokhara to Ghandruk covers a distance of roughly 55 kilometers. Although it might sound short, it usually takes around 3 to 4 hours to reach Ghandruk by road, depending on the weather and road conditions. After a short drive, we crossed Nepal. The journey so far has been nothing short of amazing. And then, we were welcomed by breathtaking waterfalls, cascading down the hillsides, a perfect touch of nature's magic. Since it was monsoon season and there had been some rain, the flow in the Modi River was stronger than usual. The sound of the rushing river echoed through the valley. It felt like nature was welcoming us in its own way. The force of the waterfall had washed away parts of the road, erasing its path beneath the flow, but thanks to our experienced driver, we pushed through it safely, undeterred by the challenge. As we progressed further, the roads grew narrower, and we came across several landslides scattered along the way. At some points, the flowing water had completely washed away the road, leaving behind no visible track at all. We were then greeted by another beautiful waterfall. We decided to stop by to soak in the raw, untouched beauty around us. Right beside it, there was a small tea house where we enjoyed a cup of refreshing tea and took a short break before continuing our journey ahead. Some sections of the road were graveled, while others were wet and slippery from the recent rain. Despite the challenges, we continued to gain altitude. And the unfolding natural beauty made us forget all the obstacles along the way. At last, we reached the final drop-off point, the start of the next chapter in our journey. We began a short hike, weaving through the wet trails and misty hillsides, our eyes set on the village ahead, where our home for the night awaited. There were no prior bookings, no reservations, just the quiet confidence that the mountains would make space for us. It's monsoon season, off the beaten path, and off-season for travel. But that's what made it beautiful and unpredictable. We walked on, trusting the journey, and knowing, deep down, that the hills would welcome us with open arms. After a short hike through the stone-carved path, we arrived at our first homestay, a humble shelter nestled in the heart of the hills. We decided to pause here, to rest our tired feet and warm up with a cup of hot tea. While we waited, a few of our friends wandered inside, curious to see what kind of stay this place could offer. Moments later, they returned with a nod and a smile. And just like that, We knew this would be our home for the night. With our accommodation sorted and to overcome the exhaustion, we decided it was time to treat ourselves. The choice was clear, a hearty local feast featuring the legendary local ballet. Our friends made their way to the backyard, searching for the biggest bird they had in stock. Laughter echoed as the selection was made. A true village-style celebration was now in motion. Before we set off to explore the beauty of Ghandruk, the homestay owner shared a few tips: quiet trails, hidden views, and local gems we shouldn't miss. But hang on. Before the adventure begins, let me give you a quick tour of our rooms. The weather was gloomy. A thick blanket of fog hid the mountains we had longed to see. But we held on to hope, knowing the sunrise tomorrow might reveal the magic we came for. In the meantime, we set off to explore Ghandruk. Winding through stone paths and ancient houses, we hiked further uphill, towards Gurung cottage, chasing elevation and maybe a clearer view of the towering giants beyond the mist. After a peaceful stroll through the village, we made our way back to the homestay, where the warmth of the kitchen welcomed us once again. Inside, the aroma filled the air. Our dinner was in the works. A local ballet was being prepared with care and promising the taste of the hills. Just as we were settling in, the weather took another turn. The rain returned. Soft at first, then steady. A familiar rhythm in this monsoon season. It cooled the air, brought a calmness to the hills, but also a question to our minds. What would the roads look like tomorrow? With every drop, the risk of landslides grew, and in these mountains, the path forward is never guaranteed. We could only hope for clearer skies by morning. But for now, we set the worries aside. The rain may fall, and tomorrow may be uncertain. But tonight, we had something certain. A warm, hearty dinner shared among friends. The local ballet didn't disappoint. Flavorful, comforting, and just what we needed. With full hearts and fuller stomachs, we called it a day. Grateful for the journey so far, and ready for whatever comes next. Good morning from Ghandruk. After a peaceful night, we woke up early, hoping to see the sunrise and catch a clear view of the Himalayas. But luck wasn't on our side today. Just as the sky began to brighten, thick fog rolled in. It quickly covered the mountains, as if the Himalayas were feeling shy and didn't want to be seen. Even though we missed the view, the calm morning and the cool mountain air still made it special. As suggested by our homestay owner, we made our way to the tea garden, walking past traditional houses and along narrow village paths. The weather looked like it might clear up, giving us a bit of hope. We continued our walk through the heart of the village, where every corner had something to admire. Stone-paved paths, old wooden houses, and friendly locals going about their day. It felt like stepping back in time, into a slower and simpler way of life. As we explored, we took time to appreciate the culture, the way people lived, the prayer flags fluttering in the breeze, and the quiet charm of village life. All the while, we kept glancing up, hoping the clouds would move and the sky would open up, just enough to give us a glimpse of the mighty Himalayas. We knew they were there, just hidden, waiting for the right moment to show themselves. We continued our journey towards the tea garden, walking along the peaceful trails. On the way, we came across a herd of donkeys, carrying heavy loads and making their way through the narrow paths. These hardworking animals are often called the wheels of the Himalayas, a lifeline for the locals, especially in places where no vehicles can go. The people here depend on them for transporting goods across these rugged mountain routes. Because of the rain, the trail was wet and slippery. The air felt cold, and the mountains were still hidden behind a thick layer of fog. Despite the weather, we slowly made our way up the stone steps, beginning our climb toward the tea garden of Ghandruk. Curious to see what waited for us at the top. As we reached the top, we were greeted not by clear views, but by leeches. Thankfully, our homestay owner had warned us earlier, so we came prepared with a simple natural remedy: salt. It may not have been the welcome we hoped for, but it was all part of the adventure. We took our time exploring the Chiabari, the beautiful tea garden, and also paid a visit to the small temple nearby to offer our prayers. After soaking in the peaceful surroundings, we slowly made our way downhill, back towards our homestay, with hearts full and minds refreshed. When we arrived back at our homestay, the smell of breakfast greeted us. A traditional Gurung meal was being prepared: freshly made bread, warm curry, and a comforting cup of masala tea, just what we needed after the morning adventure. To wrap up our trip to Ghandruk, we dressed in traditional Gurung costumes and shared a moment of joy with a fun cultural dance. It was the perfect way to celebrate the warmth of this village before saying our final goodbye. With smiles, laughter, and beautiful memories, we said goodbye to Ghandruk, a place that truly touched our hearts. Thank you for watching this video through to the very end. Your time and attention are deeply appreciated. If you found this content enjoyable, we kindly invite you to support the channel by giving it a like, sharing it, and subscribing for more content of this nature. Your continued support means a great deal and helps us grow and improve. Thank you once again, and we look forward to having you with us in the next video.